The updates are complete. We have a medallion out somewhere. It's being hidden, right? But there it is. It's finally done. Today is our final day of Halloween Horror Nights updates. Thank you guys for hanging out with us along the way in this journey of insane updates this year. We have been out here probably, I want to say 30 days in a row, but it hasn't quite been. I think we did take one day off or so, but it's here. And this is our final update because tomorrow we'll be here for Premium Scream Night. If you guys haven't yet, please consider subscribing to the channel. We still have a lot of HHN content coming for you guys. But this is the end. We have our medallion. We're gonna head in, check out the tribute store, see if there's any small things that have happened between yesterday to today. But team member previews were last night, so I don't think anything has changed. But here we are, guys. We are one sleep away from showing up to Halloween Horror Nights. I know it's not opening night, but it's Premium Scream Night. I mean, come on. Oh man, I'm so excited. Here's the thing though, I need to talk about this just briefly. There were so many people that posted yesterday and I had to like hardcore stay off social media because nobody was putting spoiler tags. So like people's stories, I was seeing stuff. There was like Instagram Reels, TikToks, like everything. And I'm like, dude, the event's not here yet. So, yeah, I was like off social media a lot last night because I don't want to see it, and probably the same for today, honestly, because that stuff is still flowing through. I also heard a few things that I didn't want to hear. Nothing too spoilery at the end of the day, and I'm not going to tell you guys anything. I want you to get our reactions, everything like that, but it's a little unfortunate. I feel like if you're doing something before an event, you got to add like a spoiler tag or something, because again, like, it's not out yet, so some people don't want to see that. They're not expecting to see it, but it's okay. I understand. There's excitement. No differences in signage or anything out here. Again, I think the big thing, we are just heading to the tribute store today. Also, I was surprised that they uncovered these before team member previews started, because like all of these were exposed yesterday before like team member previews, which was kind of a shock, but maybe they were just kind of preparing and just making it happen. One thing I will mention, because it's already been stated, that there's going to be a dry and a wet path for Terrifier. I had heard that Terrifier closed because it like got flooded. Here's the thing. Rumors spread like crazy last year over certain things. People were passing out. People were going to the hospital. You never really know. It could have closed because it flooded. It could have closed for other reasons. But also, if it did close because it flooded, that means that the wet path is too wet. So they're gonna have to tune it down because there's no way they're gonna close the house with that flow. So we may never see the fully anticipated like wet path of Terrifier. Obviously tomorrow we'll let you guys know. We'll try and go through both sides. I have to bring some sort of bag or something to cover up my camera because it sits right here. So I do have to bring something to cover that up. Also, I wanted to point out right here, they inserted these menus now into these like box frames here. Again, these kind of like go out into the street so you don't have to go up to the window to see the menus. It's still crazy to just see nothing back here for Rip Ride except for that support pole right there. Crane is there. I mean, they're doing work, so it must be taking stuff out still, but it's just like, holy cow, like Rip Ride is like gone. Like it's done. We know it's done, but just like watching every day more and more disappear is still crazy. All right, we are stepping in. It should finally be here, I am hoping. Let's go see. Doors are open. All right, we're in business. Interesting too, this is now uncovered. It's the idols. Oh, that's cool. All right, it's gonna be hard to see. Let me see if I can pull my phone out. All right, so if you look through here, these are the carved stone idols. So these are all the idols we've kind of seen in time. Looks like we also have, I didn't realize the Gillman was one of them. There is the Bat and the Cthulhu. Again, these are all from previous HHN tribute stores. This one looks to be stolen maybe, but again, these stories right here, you can come in and read them. It's gonna be too long if I were to read every single one. There's supposed to be 6 of them in that middle line. In our collection, we have 6 statues. And as you can see right here, it looks like we only have 5, one of them being broken. And I thought one got taken, so very cool. There's a lot of projections happening in here too. Oh yeah, look at this too, on display. I feel like this stuff could just fit right into the Mummy Execute. Again, I know it's a little dark here, but look it up there. I love that they have that playing on the projector. And you can hear the sound too. It sounds like an old school projector. So it looks like what they're doing is they're discovering these idols. Oh, look at this. It has flickering eyes. It's actually pretty neat. I like that. Again, I think we found out this one isn't normally here, but that one might normally be here. I'm not too sure at this point now. Again, a lot of this stuff has now been uncovered Artifact of unknown origin. Let's see over here. Donated by LIAE, on loan from the Global Discovery Group. So I think these are all just different artifacts and things that have been loaned, but really I'm sure a lot of you guys are so interested in what is actually happening inside of these doors over here. Oh, but I'm sorry, we can't get in there yet. On loan again. Some cool artifacts. Looks like a little like bard instrument there. Very unique. What else do we have up here? Little bowls. And then this is what they had dug up in that one there in that video. Pretty neat. So this is actually the Pithos of Epimetheus right here. So this is cool. Do you see these projections? Like, I think it's meant to look like this thing is like pulsing. Down here, do you see all this? Like, there's no mistake. Like, this is how it's supposed to be. I think it's supposed to like be radiating like darkness from this. How cool is that? I don't even know where it's coming from. I think it's got to be that one. But the way like it hits, I think it's like, you know, showing this pulsing. That's cool. Here is our layout in a larger fashion. So again, you are going to enter right here, even though it does say exit. You're going to come up here, and we're kind of existing right over here. You can actually see the sign that says you are here, right down there. And then we're going to enter now into this area and see what is happening, because it's been closed up. We have no idea. I'm really curious about this hedge maze, to be honest. We also have some banners over here. So, all right, let's head in. Again, all huge question marks in here. Whoa! Way taller than I thought it was going to be. They have not covered up the pipes though, but that's all right.
Last year, the
Okay, so tie in a little bit to El Artista. And let's see, we actually have some new merch in here that I have not seen. What is this going to be? Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. Okay, so it's gummy pizza slices. You guys want some pizza slices. But I'm more interested in seeing what's happening over here. Again, right down here, on loan from the Stein family. So we've seen like the Stein exhibits here. And this looks to be wrapped up. I wonder if they uncover this during the actual event, or if this is like meant to show like, it's not really here. I like that the vines are kind of wrapped around it though, kind of signifying that maybe something's happening underneath. And another one here, on loan from the Stein family. Oh yeah, look at all the art up top. Holy cow. Speaking of art, he's right there too. But wow, that's cool. So it's basically all these paintings, I'm assuming, from El Artista and Sergio himself. You can see Jason right there. That is cool. Look, you have a little boo one right over there. And then you've got Wyatt 6 right there. What do we have over here? So I'm trying to see, are these like the houses too, outside of just the IPs? Let's see up front here. So do not touch the artifacts. All right, I won't. This one looks huge. What is this one? This is the statue of Poseidon here. Again, they all have these stories, which is cool. So again, you can go ahead and read through all of them when you guys come in and check it out. But that looks pretty cool, and I like that it kind of came crashing down. You can hear the electricity, which is very much what I'm assuming they're going to do over in the Toxic 20s. Give that electricity like feeling from those downed cables. What do we see over here? Crashed. Unfortunately, something's fallen apart. This one up here. It looks like we have the curator himself in this painting right here too. Not leaving him out. We also have kind of that old school pizzeria cup from Five Nights. If you guys are looking for that, it's going to be $20. Kind of cool. You get two of them. It's that, like, you know, that old school plastic cup. And then up here, a giant dinosaur head. It looks like. Do we have any description on it? I don't know. Again, this looks like it came crashing through. So I was trying to see if there was any body attached to it. I do not see anything. Right here, the main stage and gala information. So you can see the microphone right here. So I'm guessing this is where the guest speaker would have gone. And that is the schedule for the night. In general, I do want to point out, I mean, this is much smaller than our other tribute stores, or at least it feels that way, because it's kind of just one big room here. And I understand they were kind of limited on space, unfortunately, this year, but that's kind of cool. The gargoyle up there and the stained glass in the back there. Oh, they do have kind of like little IP sections here too. So it looks like we have Fallout right here in the center if you guys are looking for IP specific merch. From what I'm seeing already, nothing new for actual merch here. And then I believe kind of Five Nights is right here. It's like right there and right here. As soon as you walk in, you do have Terrifier along that wall. And then it kind of keeps going right here. And then it looks like we have Jason right over here. and then Y at 6 next to him. So you have Jason, and then Y at 6. Again, you can definitely see they're not really pushing these IPs quite as much as some of the others, which I guess I understand. I mean, not every IP is going to, hold the same weight, but it's kind of interesting to see as this develops. I haven't seen these though. These are new coasters, and those are going to be $10. So I think all the coasters are $10. Over here, what do we have? A body in at the sands. Looks a little mummified, if you will. Very small body, to be honest. Here's another one with a dagger through the heart and a dagger through his head, unfortunately. And looks like we have a crying statue here. Oh, and then over to the right and the left, you actually have these skulls down there that have some stuff in them. And what about down here? Looks like we've got more skulls out there on display. You know what? I said this was sand. It's not. It's just like a mat. It's interesting. They kind of like moss growing on them. I'm not seeing any signage though for these ones. And then over here, looks like we have El Artista's house. It looks like, at least from the painting, but obviously he's not there yet. So there's some cool paintings here that I think are actually quite neat. But what I am finding difficult is the storytelling here. I am missing a little bit. It's kind of a museum, obviously, which is always interesting. Really quick, too. We do have collector coins, so if you guys want them, we have Lil Boo, Vault 33, and Fallout, Jason, and Terrifier. I'm not seeing the Five Nights coin down here, though. And then on the floor, we have more of these photos, which we did see on display over in Sahara Traders. Back there, it looks like we have some medieval gear out there on display. Also, those spears there, right there, are normally on display actually outside in Sahara Traders. Also down here, look at on the floor, we have more pulsing happening. Just have to look for all the projections in weird places. Again, like I was pointing out, it's over on that one too. Looks like we have like a lot of old school kind of like Egyptian pieces back here as well. What I'm going to do, I'm going to see if I can figure out more of this story here, because I'm missing a little bit. So let me figure out what's going on all in here. Alrighty guys, we have a story to tell, and it all starts right here, which is why you see this happening. So the Pithos of Epimetheus, basically a lot of the stuff was kind of given to the museum by the kind of international explorers, and when they were kind of setting everything up, this here, the Pithos of Epimetheus, opened, and this entity had kind of leaked out. And that is what you're seeing here, is this darkness has kind of hit, and now it is kind of radiating, causing havoc. When it opened, you actually saw things shatter. That is why you see this here. So things, basically just a huge rumble, big shaking, and the whole place was kind of like shaken up. So you're seeing a lot of broken things inside of these cases. Again, not all of these things inside of the cases are necessarily haunted or whatever it might be, but you'll start to notice again, like, why is this broken? Why in the other room was like the vase kind of like broken down and shattered. So it all stems from this artifact here. So you're going to come through here, and again, all of this tells a story realistically, and you're going to see who kind of donates all of these pieces and what the whole story behind everything is. And again, all of these artifacts were all basically brought here again for this museum. And again, as you kind of come through, you're going to be able to read all of these like things that are out here, but realistically, the most important there is that Pithos of Epimetheus. Now, interestingly enough, right here we have a mask that is supposed to be here, right? And it's supposed to protect you from the afterlife, but you can see it's kind of missing there. And right over here, we are also missing the Book of the Dead, interestingly enough. And it looks like another spot that it should be. Now, I'm assuming this is part of a story here. I'm not totally seeing whether or not it is or isn't, but it seems like, this mask here protects from the afterlife. This book over here talks about having ancient spells and incantations that could resurrect the dead and summon warriors of the book, which then kind of wraps hand in hand. Also, every so often, you'll hear this like noise that kind of like goes over the speakers here. And once again, this is the big one there, the International Institute of Antiquities and Exploration. They are the ones that ended up donating this Pithos of Epimetheus that is causing all of this havoc. So it's all kind of making sense here. So earlier we were pointing out all the electricity as it had fallen. It actually looks like there's like fine stuff kind of wrapped even around the face of Poseidon here, but you can see it looks like the roof has fallen, pieces have kind of cracked down here. So this all kind of makes sense now. And actually reading on this one here, it does say the finding of this piece has stirred great controversy and has been marred with, for lack of a better term, bad luck, and many refuse to get near it, even to read this description for fear of the rubbing off of the ethereal bad luck. Much like I showed you earlier, again, here is this broken vase that is now kind of shattered and fallen. So this was all part of that Epimetheus kind of opening and causing up a stir. It's a very interesting, the story in here. I'm sure it is much deeper than I am explaining, to be fair. And I bet you Kevin is going to have quite the deep dive. But at this point, I think that is just about it for everything in here. There are a few things that are still covered, but I don't know if that's just meant to be part of it, or if they end up opening that during HHN, maybe it's a little darker. It just seems like a lot of things that came from these people that were donated just aren't good luck. You know, they're bad luck. They hold bad things. They are not full of what you want to be held in one museum location. And that is kind of the vibe that we are getting here. But overall, that is our tribute store here. I definitely recommend coming and checking it out. We do have to finish a few things on the loop today, but that is a majority of what we wanted to cover here. You know what I'm not seeing is that hedge maze or whatever, and like the whole like back area. So when you look at this, we're here, and then you come in here, this is where we do a lot of the stuff, and then this area we never go to. We never experience this. So basically, Sahara Traders is half of the entire tribute store. I thought it would have been a third, because I thought we'd have this, I thought we'd have this, and then I thought we were having this area. This area doesn't exist. It stops here. So you're only down in this area, and there's no way to go back there. That is interesting. All right, let's talk about it. Okay, so overall thoughts on the tribute store. Not that high for me. Honestly, I don't like it that much compared to years past. A big thing with the tribute store is it's oftentimes super well themed. You get all these different rooms, all these different experiences. It feels like it's just like one big room, and much smaller than I thought it was going to be, because I thought we were going to have that top portion there, and you don't have that. So now it's basically Sahara Traders, like I was just saying, is half of the tribute store. So a little bizarre. Also, one more thing I do want to point out that I was hearing is this is about it for the Freddy's experience over here. Now, this was for team member previews. Everything can change, guys, everything. And we will be covering it ourselves, but I did hear, and I don't want you guys to go into Friday being upset if this is the case. I heard it's basically this photo, and then they kind of like switch over the screens, and then you basically have food items in here. So I don't think we're getting any more characters. Maybe they'll end up bringing out some characters and something else here. But for team member previews, for sure, all they had was really this, and then the screens turned over, and then I think they maybe had different outfits, and then like the food was up there. So nothing else was really going on for 5 nights in here. Again, this can all change. Team member previews is always such a light version in some aspects. So obviously we're gonna be covering it for you, but just so you guys are aware, if you guys are coming to the event and you notice that, just keep that in mind. We do also have these new Mel's Die-In hats. I don't recall seeing these, so we do have a little bit of new merch again. Not much, but at least a few small things. We also have this tumbler here that has Halloween Horror Nights. That's gonna be $35 for that. Also, it was $35 for the hat. Now, I did try and come find, there is a weekly magnet, but I'm not seeing it right now. I'm looking inside of the main store here. I know it's around here somewhere. I'm sure we'll be able to find it on Thursday, but I don't see it anywhere. But there's basically that weekly magnet that they do every year where they kind of switch out. Also, the Medallion scavenger hunt. They will be doing a scavenger hunt this year, kind of like they do every year for, it looks like the Medallion is kind of like the new theme. So I think it was like Lobu or something last year. It looks like this year they're doing like a Medallion. To my knowledge, I think you're just gonna pick it up and kind of go hunting for it. I talked to team members and nobody was totally aware of it. So when we get actual more information, I will try and cover it for you guys. But as of right now, I think it'll release, I would assume, opening night. So again, if we're just talking about the tribute store, I do think it is unique. It's a nice looking tribute store. I think that the theme is fun. It ties in really well to Sahara Traders. The fact that it's all kind of one cohesive piece between Sahara Traders and the other side of the tribute store, though we're including Sahara Traders in it at this point, I think it's really nice. I think they have some really cool designs in there. It does feel like we're missing a little extra overall. You know, I would have liked to see another room
I mean, I don't know if you can. I don't know what's behind those doors and kind of like where it showed like the hedge maze. I would have liked to see like more space used because it's like one long hallway really. And the fact that unfortunately Sahara Traders being half of the tribute store, well, we've seen that over the past few weeks as we're checking in on it. So it was already kind of revealed to us. I didn't realize that it was half and not a third like I originally thought. So it is definitely an interesting situation right now. Now I understand they can't utilize this one here, okay, the one here in New York, because the extended queue to the Mummy goes over there. There's a lot of stuff back there, and with Rip Ride closing, they're going to need the capacity there inside of the Mummy, so we can no longer use this one, at least for now. I would like to think maybe next year it can go back there. I'm hoping, at least, just because it does feel a little too small. I get it, they were kind of like in a crunch and couldn't really utilize a different space. I also just feel like for it being the 10th anniversary of the HHN Tribute Store, I was really hoping to have like this like really big grand experience. Once again, they are hindered by the construction. So not really a fault of theirs. They just kind of did what they could with the situation. All of that being said, I see it every single day, so it makes sense that maybe for me, I'm like not as excited because like, well, I've been seeing Sahara Traders every single day. We go on the Mummy all the time. Like Sahara Traders is just part of like our daily experience really here at Universal. Where if you're coming to the event and you don't go to Sahara Traders every single day or every month or whatever, having that be like part of the experience is fine because you're not really going to be able to tell like the difference. You're not going to be able to say like, oh, well, Sahara Traders, you know, being part of it, like, why is this part of it? Like, you won't know the difference if that makes sense. Like, I notice the difference because like it's the exit queue of the Mummy. I go in there all the time. I'm doing updates over there. We ride the Mummy all the time, so we go through Sahara Traders. But if you're coming to this event and you're not here at Universal multiple times a year or whatever, and you don't even know the difference necessarily between Sahara Traders and the Tribute Store, it's gonna be perfect for you. You're not gonna be able to tell the difference. So I think it's totally fine for probably 90 to 95% of the guests that attend. This is my personal thoughts because I know how it is and like what the situation is. So that's the way I kind of look at it. I like the story that's being told. I wish it was being told a little bit more. You know, when you did some of the other tribute stores, if you remember, you'd kind of go through and you'd go to a completely different room. It would tell you a completely different story, and you would follow these trails. I liked that a lot. This one, it's like, well, you go into Sahara Traders and then it's just one big area. And so you kind of have to go finding the story a little bit more. You're on a little bit more of a hunt. So there are some differences there as well. I like being told the story as you go through versus this one where it's kind of like everything is available and you kind of have to go read around. So it's a different approach overall. Do I love it? Like I said, no. Do I hate it? No. I think it's a fine tribute store. Definitely not my favorite. But I think, as mentioned, I think you will like it if you aren't here every single day. I think if you come a lot and you know Sahara Traders, you might be slightly disappointed in the fact that it's not huge. But again, they did what they could with what they could. Either way, I wanted to point out that 5-night situation. That is all wrapped up. We did our tribute store tour. Everything else around the park is the same at this point. I don't want to spoil anything that I do know. Everything will be coming out for Friday. With all of that being said though, we are done here at Universal Studios for our very last Halloween Horror Nights update. It's kind of sad, you know, it's like now the actual event is here. But thank you guys for hanging out with me during this journey. Thank you for getting us to these goals that we have set. Thank you to all of the people that we have already seen inside of the parks. I've seen so many of you guys. Thank you for saying hello and just being so friendly. It's super awesome to kind of like meet so many of you guys. But at the end of the day, updates are done. This is the final one. Update season is over, and now it is moving on to HHN season itself, the actual event. Now, if you guys don't mind, in the comments, let us know certain things you might want to see. We'll have like a mid-season update, you know, we'll let you guys know what has changed along the way. Obviously, we'll have the food, we'll have Express, opening weekend. If there's certain things you want us to do, if there's certain challenges, or you know, if you want us to rank houses, do things like that, let us know, and we'll try and make these videos along the way. But yeah, I think that is it. We are now going to have to get out of here. And again, thank you guys so much for just hanging out with us here for these updates, being along for this journey. I know some of you guys don't want to be spoiled with HHN, so you kind of tune out at this point, but thank you for being here for all of the updates. Hopefully you guys stick around throughout the year. We do cover pretty much everything else. We're going back to Epic Universe for New Year's Eve. A few other things, we want to see what they do for Halloween out there, so we are going in October, I believe, out to Epic as well. You know, we do pretty much everything around here, but obviously we love the HHN season. It's just a lot of fun, and we go real hard with it here. So it's been unique to do as many videos as we have so far, and there's still a lot to come. But again, thank you so much. It's been awesome. But either way, the next time we will be recording a video will be tomorrow night for Premium Scream Night. Thank you guys again so much for being here.